What's going on, everyone? So, Scream 7 will officially be filming in and around Atlanta, Georgia from January 7th to March 12th. So, got 2 months of filming Scream 7. The working title is Scar Tissue. If Atlanta residents happen to come across the title in particular locations, it's most likely Scream 7. So, the working title is Scar Tissue, and they will be in Atlanta, Georgia. This is exciting, right? Interesting that they're doing it in Atlanta rather than when they film in Montreal last go around. And Sydney is in Seattle, so I think it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how they kind of play this out, play this up. But nonetheless, right? Locations. I want quality scenery, right? I want multiple locations, right? Like one of the things that I've talked about, like with Scream 6, I've been very critical of Scream 6, but you had all these different kind of looks, right? Had like the subway, the shrine room, you had the parties, you had all these different places, the apartment, right? Like the bodega, right? It wasn't so confined and in this box, right? Scream has always kind of been in this box, kind of, darker settings, right? You know, like Scream 2, pretty much everything took place at Windsor College, right? It's like none of these guys ever go out, none of these guys ever leave campus, right? Like, it's just like everyone's just on campus all day, all night, 24/7, 365, right? You just like you look at some of these, like even Scream 3 was on set the entire time. It's just like can we get some different spots, right? Obviously, again, they had different places, they had different things, but for the most part, most of it was kind of set and settled in a specific place, right? Where Scream 6, I thought, again, you just got a better job of kind of being a little all over the place, right? You got them walking through the park and going to the bodegas and going to parties. And, it's just like it felt a little more real. Like that was one of the few things that I thought Scream 7 really got right, in my opinion, and I really enjoyed seeing, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, look, this is going to be about Sydney, right? About Sydney Prescott. It's going to be about her family. Um, and I've said they have a real opportunity here, and I don't want to see them blow it, right? You have an opportunity for Ghostface to essentially be anyone and anything. I don't want it to be the same old run of the mill. I don't want to see it being, oh, it's Sydney's daughter or it's the cousin's nephew or, what, like, no, can we just like tell a new, fresh story, new, fresh take? I think you have a real opportunity here with Sydney and a family dynamic, right? I think you have a real opportunity here with just Sydney, period, because Sydney's never had this, right? Like, not only is she responsible for keeping herself alive, she's responsible for keeping her husband alive, her children alive, right? She is in a compromised position that she's never been in before, right? I think that you have a real opportunity to kind of add some real elements here. Supposedly Ghostface is going to be darker and more brutal than ever. That's great. Love it. Love to hear that, right? But how far are you willing to kind of push the boundaries here? How far are you willing to go here? And I do. I don't want it to just kind of be set in Sydney's house or her safe house or whatever the whole time, right? I'd like to see us kind of explore a little bit, go different places, go different areas, right? They gotta make sense. Why is Gail with Sydney, or did Sydney go to Gail? Like, how did that work? How did that play out, right? Like, there's a lot of things that they're gonna have to kind of dive into and explore and kind of explain. And I really want to get to proper character development, right? Like, take your time, flush this out, right? Like, something that I've talked about heavily is just the lack of character development that we have seen with these last Scream movies. We had two movies with the core four, and can anyone tell me who they really are? Like, honestly, like, who are they character wise, right? It's just like Scream 5 development was so bad, people couldn't stand it, right? People wanted to get rid of Sam. I'm sure some of that had to do with just Jenna Ortega being Jenna Ortega at the time, but still, like, can we get back to storytelling? Can we get back to character development? One of the few things that I think that they've gotten really right with these two films is Ghostface. I think they've done a really good job with the kills, making them a little more realistic, right? Not as so much playing with your food, but just kind of to the point. tack. Here you go. When you see Ghostface on camera, at least in Scream 5, Scream 6, not so much. Scream 6, nobody died. Technically, like 20 people died, but they were all in the bodega. The only character that actually died was Anika or Annika, right? And why did we care? Like, they didn't develop her. There was no, like, she died and we were all just like, okay, like, because you didn't build her character up. You didn't give us anything with her. The only thing that we got was that her and Mindy were, together, right? Like, okay. But why should I care that she died? Because Mindy will be upset? It's not a good enough reason, right? Like, you need to get us close. Like, when Randy died, we felt that. Randy dying was such a travesty. I mean, this was before the internet we know today. People were furious. Protests, upset, forums, all that stuff, right? So much so that they thought about bringing Randy back and justifying how he survived, right? Like, to this day, people want Stu back. Rose McGowan joked about Tatum having a twin sister, and everyone was like, yep, okay, sure, that sounds great. Why? Because we loved the characters, because he did such a great job with the development. And all those characters we got development in the first film. It didn't take 2, 3, 4, 5 films. Yes, with Gail and Sydney and Dewey, we got, 5 films with them. But it didn't take 5 films for us to go, okay, we like these guys. It didn't take 5 films to understand who they were. They just kept expanding and building on those characters. Rather than like, oh, here they are. Here's the new characters. Right? I really want to see them take the time to really properly go about and flush out and do the things necessary to really hit with just, like I said, the character development, the overall storytelling, right? The scenes and settings, right? Like, obviously it's a slasher film, Ghostface hiding in the dark, stuff like that. So you're going to have the dark ambiance and stuff, and the lighting's not going to be the greatest at times stuff. But I want to see some scenes, right? Scream 5, Ghostface was killing people in broad daylight, right? You got great lighting. Like, you had them push some boundaries, right? I thought that's one of the few things that they really did a good job with. But you need more than just like again, I want memorable kills, right? To me, I'm more about quality than quantity. Right? I'd much rather that. I'd much rather, kind of, hey, here's 5 kills, not counting Ghostface, or even counting Ghostface, right? They're properly spread out and all that stuff. But here's 5 kills, and they're just incredibly memorable. It's like, okay, like, man, you leave the theater and you're like, man, could you believe that this character died the way that they died and all that? Like, I would prefer that. I want that. I want the more memorable kills rather than the, quantity of kills. Oh, here's, 15 people died in this film. And it's like, okay, again, we got a bunch of people that died in the Scream 6. But guess what? None of it mattered because none of the characters mattered, right? Like, I don't want that. I want a better quality film. I want a better quality just setting, Ghostface, element, story. I believe it. I at least I have hope, right? I'm hoping Kevin Williamson's in business, kind of start getting things together. That's my hope, right? Again, maybe I'm too optimistic and I may end up being very disappointed, but I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with my points? Disagree with my points? Kind of mixed in the middle. Do you like the idea of, yes, like you need to tell a better story, have good settings, good vibes, right? Have good, just kind of on-site locations where, things are happening. Do you think like, no, like, keep it kind of inboxed? You don't want to see a bunch of different film locations. You don't want to have a bunch of different areas. Kind of keep it, to a specific area or location. What do you want to see character-wise? What do you want to see story-wise? What do you want to see Ghostface-wise? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.